Now, face the mighty bison.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In this video, we're going to be looking at patch 2.10 patch notes. I have the tweet here and I also have the website open here. I will skip over some of the things that we already know. I guess I will gloss over it. For example, you have the Tekken shop, you have the Vigilante Tech Pack and the Cyber Phantom Pack. We've seen this in the trailer, but a good thing to note about this is that it will be dividable from upper body, lower body, shoes, glasses, and hat. When they are adding these outfits to the game, it's good that you have this level of customability with it. You also have a special deal. This is going to be like a half off or like 75% off, 25% off on other skins in the game. You guys could go in the shop and take a look at that. And then you also have the new mode, the Tekken Ghost Showdown coming to the game. This is where you could go into the Tekken Lounge and you can put your ghost in battle against another person. You also have the introduction of 5 more character panels. For those of you who don't know, they're doing this thing where they collaborated with the community, and a lot of the fan art that you see on Twitter is making its way into the game. You get a character panel for each character. They're doing it 5 at a time. Now you have more to go and get, and it's free. Also, another big change that they made is to the player data and leaderboard section, where you can now go into the game and view season 1 data. This is something that I asked for, and I think the players should have access to. And now you could go in there and you can filter it, and you can take a look at everything that season 1 had to offer, maybe even how you performed, other characters performed. Now, when you look at the actual patch notes, you have this first section here, which is the adjustment policy, and we gave a general overview for this in the video that I covered, I believe yesterday. You guys can go back and watch that. I won't read all of this. I'll just look at the 5 bullet points. So it says gradual adjustments of moves with excessive return. These are things that they want to nerf, right? So that's talking about the risk versus reward being skewed heavily in the favor of reward. Then number 2 is the reduction of aerial combos. Number 3 is adjustments of heat burst performance. 4 is reduction of chip damage from heat smash. And then they also talk about in this section here the future update that they want to do in June, where they add more stuff to the game. They do more things, specifically heat timers, heat activations. They want to just continue balancing the game, right? But these 4 bullet points that they list out is all pretty good because they are trying to address some of the big problems with the game, like the aerial combo damage. That's one of the major problems of this game. And then also heat and chip damage, right? So they're trying to knock it out of the park. Now when you look at this set of changes here as well, you have these first 4, which is just like, quality of life, practice, my replay tips, move list, voice effects, etc. Right? So that's just quality of life changes. 2 at the bottom, these are more so just unattended issues where it's like a glitch or something of that nature. But then the heat burst, this is where they talk about how they reduce the homing duration against sidesteps. They also note adjustments have been made to each character's heat burst, reducing its hitbox size to mitigate the differences in how easily it can be stepped between characters, right? And a big change here is the quick back slide. Improved homing performance at the start of the move, making it easier to rise facing the opponent. Adjustments have been made to address cases where characters would unintentionally transition into back turn state under certain conditions. So this sounds like the problem that I've been dealing with since the game came out, where sometimes I would be trying to stand up and then I would get hit as I'm standing up and my character would stand up backwards. This is a good change, and I'm glad to see them finally address it because I've died so many times. I mean, standing up backwards against your opponent, what do you think is going to happen, right? Now, you have the individual character changes. For the character Alyssa, these are more so just attacking some of her damage and also some of her frames. So you can see for the move up 434, chipping at her frames just a little bit from 38 to 41 to 38 to 40. So they literally knocked 1 frame off the maximums there, right? And then for the character Anna, you have 2 nerfs and you have 2 fixes. One nerf is a damage nerf, changing the move from 36 to 30, and then the other one is changing the behavior of the opponent on hit. The change has been made considering that unattended follow-up attacks were occurring, allowing the damage output significantly exceeding expectations. Now, when you look at the character Asuka, she has a lot of stuff here, and they give us the balance direction, which is what I'm going to read. Asuka received not only bug fixes, but also balance. Adjustments focused on reducing her excessively high combo damage. For the move 434, it has been significant significant contributor to increased aerial combos. However, rather than lowering the damage, since that would reduce the effectiveness as a grounded follow-up, the aerial attack behavior has been reverted to Season 1 version to maintain its intended usability. Additionally, for the following moves, camera effects during aerials hit has been removed to improve ease of execution in aerial combos. Now, with that being said, there's also some nerfs in here where they're targeting chip damage on her heat, they're targeting damage on her forward, 1+2, and then just some other changes here as well, right? For the character Azucena, there's all nerfs once again, and her heat smash, they changed the behavior when a third hit connects with a downed opponent after the first whiffs. Adjustments address situations where excessively high combo damage was being dealt under specific conditions. For the character Brian Fury, all nerfs, but one move is a buff and a nerf, and we'll read this one. Adjustments. This is back 1+2. Adjustments to the move so that it always transitions into crouch state upon completion. The opponent's state when blocking has been changed from crouching to standing. That's a big one because you're going to be able to hit him now, right? Reduce the hitbox size in a down direction. Decrease the opponent's recovery by 3 frames, adjusting the frame advantage on a block from +7 to +4. Reduce the knockback distance when the attack is blocked. The tracking ability of the second hit has been enhanced on hit or block for the first hit, mitigating the occurrence of whiffing midway through. This is some complex stuff they're doing to Brian Fury. It sounds like this move is going to have a complete overhaul. For the character Claudio and Clive, these characters have received similar changes in terms of their heat activation, but then they also both have one nerf to individual moves. For Claudio, it's an increased distance between the characters when the first hit lands on a downed opponent. For Clive, the chip damage on block was changed from 11 to 10. For Devil Jin, they have a balanced direction. It says in version 2.01, adjustments were made to weaken some of Devil Jin's stronger techniques. For the move, down 1, 2, the opponent's behavior on hit has been revised. The change was made in response to the move allowing Devil Jin to repeatedly maintain advantage position by following Morning Crow against a down opponent. Now for Dragunov and for Eddie, both of these characters also have only 2 changes. Dragunov, both of his are nerf. Eddie has a nerf and a neutral, basically a bug fix, right? Now when we look at the next screen, you have the character Fang Wei, which has all nerfs once more. They're attacking the chip damage like they're doing with all the characters. They removed the camera effect like they did with Asuka. This is on his Daring Heat back 4, 3, 4. But then they also changed the frame advantage from +12 to +7. For the character Heihachi Mishima, he has all nerfs once again, and this time it looks like they're really going after his damage. Warrior Instinct all over the place. That mechanic is so busted. It's one of the most powerful mechanics in the whole game. Heihachi's 5th round performance is so high because of that, and the fact that they're finally starting to go after it. I mean, finally, about time, right? This is more than needed. For the character Harang, chip damage, same like all the characters being attacked, but then also they're attacking his heat activation like all the other characters, but the move that is buff is Daring Right Flamingo down forward 4. Daring Heat, the chip damage dealt on opponent or block was adjusted from 3 to 4 to correct the discrepancy between the move list. So this is just a bug fix there, right? Nothing too major for the character Harang. Now for Jack, he is getting a damage nerf as well, but then they also buff his move to adjust the move so that it can no longer be countered by strong air attack reversals and strong parries. So that's a fix, right? Jun Kazama and Jin, both of these characters also have the heat change as well, but then they both also have chip damage nerfs to their heat and also damage nerfs to their individual attacks. The character Kazuya has 3 nerfs, and they're attacking his chip damage on his heat. The up forward 1 removed the homing attack property, making it possible to evade with steps. Change the damage from 20 to 16. The startup of attacks has been changed from 20 to 21 to 20, right? So it's a solid 20 now. For the character King, he has the same heat change as everyone else, and then they attacked his chip damage on his heat. For the character Kuma and Panda, they have a lot here, but some of this is the stuff that all the other characters got, like the nerf to the heat, the chip damage, also the heat activation change, but then they also have some unique things here as well. For the character Lars, this is the guy of season 2, right? 4 nerfs, they're attacking his heat. This is the chip damage from 10 to 7, his dynamic entry, and his during heat version of it, right? So they adjusted it so that the follow-up attack no longer occurs on block or whiff, aligning the behavior with that of dynamic entry, right? And then his down 3-3, they reduced the distance to opponent on block. So maybe this will make it to where you can whiff it more now. For daring silent entry 1+2, they increased the recovery on block and whiff by 1 frame, so now it's -14, so that's big. For Law, 1 change. Lee, 1 change. These are the universal changes that every other character has been given. Leo is also another heavy hitter. She has a balanced direction here. We'll go ahead and read this. Leo received adjustments primarily aimed at balancing moves that offered excessively high return relatively to their risk. The move back 2 had opponent's recovery increased by 3 frames in version 2, made it difficult to respond to the follow-up attacks, and allowed for overly one-sided mind games. As a result, its property has been reverted to match those from season 1. So they're doing a lot of the reverting here. Players were saying revert the update. Now they're not reverting the entire update, but they are reverting some of the big moves that did big damage, that broke the game. And that's a thing that no one really considered, is like revert the individual move, right? For the character Leroy Smith, he has the same changes as everyone with the during heat, and then also the when heat activation. Both of those nerfs are similar, but then his during sidestep 3+4, these are 2 nerfs as well, but one is look like they're fixing a bug with Leroy Smith. The other one says the downward size of the hitboxes for the first and second hit has been reduced, making it more difficult to connect against opponents in a down state. So they're trying to make it not as abusable on people who are grounded. Now for the character Lydia, she has straight damage nerfs throughout, chip damage as well. Now the character Lily, damage nerfs all throughout, and then she also has the universal heat changes like every other character. Nina also has the universal changes that pretty much every character has. For Paul Phoenix, there's 3 nerfs and then there's 2 bug fixes. The 3 nerfs is a chip damage nerf that the other characters have, and then the last 2 is where they're attacking his deep dive down forward, and all of these changes is attacking his frames and making it less abusable. For the character Raven, you have once again universal changes to his heat that all the other characters have, and then his quarter circle 1+2 and his wild rising 3+4. Both of these are the developers attacking the frames of these attack, allowing the opponent to fight back. For the character Reina, you just have damage nerfs throughout, but the last one says wild rising 1-4. They adjusted the move to be executable from a wild rising position, correcting the disparity between the move list description and its actual behavior. Now Shahid has universal changes that all the other characters have. Steve Fox, they're addressing him a little bit with attacking his chip like all the other characters, and then the daring heat, they're changing the opponent's recovery time when blocked, so they're reducing it by 8 frames. The frame advantage on block was +4, now it's -4. And then Flicker Stand's transition on block is now going from +11 to +3. So that's big nerfs, right? But this is good. This is what we want. For 112, due to an unintended increased time recovery, the recovery has been reduced by 4, adjusting for the frame advantage on block from 11 frames to -7. Now for the final characters, Victor, Xiaoyu, and Yoshimitsu, these characters basically have the same universal changes as all the other characters, just attacking the heat, attacking the frames, attacking the chip damage, and allowing the opponent to fight back. For Zafina, they are also attacking her chip damage, but then they're fixing one issue where they address a unintended feature with the character. So that's it for this update. We will see how big of an impact it has on the game itself, but that's it.